They did it again. Why? What? Stop! Everybody knows this by now. The WWE has fired another crop of superstars. I thought they already did that this year. This only follows the first crop of guys that were fired back in April, a good amount of NXT wrestlers, a lot of backstage people, and now there's another crop of wrestlers. Where recently WWE fired Lana, Aleister Black, a few more other superstars, and freaking Braun Strowman! This guy beat Goldberg for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, the Roman feud. He flipped a bunch of heavy stuff. He ran through a door on an ambulance. And he's fired! Let's talk about where these superstars will end up next, but before we get to that, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Aleister Black, Impact Wrestling. Black is a world champion, or Tommy N now, is a world champion. Not a tag team guy, not a mid-carder. I mean, this guy is a world champion caliber wrestler. I think Aleister or Tommy going to AEW would be great for his career, and he has a resume that deserves an AEW contract. I have a bad feeling he'll get thrown into the mid-card and he'll kind of stay there for a long time because their mid-card is stacked. That's not this of Tommy's talent, it's just that AEW's mid-card is so stacked. I mean, there's just so many mid-carders in AEW that all have potential to be world champions, but there's such a stacked mid-card that he would get lost in the shuffle, and I don't want to see that. I don't want him to get a world title match that just happens on some random Dynamite on Wednesday. I want a pay-per-view caliber world champion, Tommy N. I think Black will be an instant Impact main eventer and an instant world champion. Black working for Impact Wrestling just fits his style perfectly, given the guys that are there. Also, Impact Wrestling is really good at making cinematic skits and also just really working on character development, because if you look at most of their alumni roster, most of them are signed to WWE or AEW because they have such a great character arc in Impact Wrestling that of course WWE is gonna notice it. Also, Black goes to Impact Wrestling, much like Eric Young did, just walks in and wins the world championship. It's a very esteemed and recognized world title, so if AEW or New Japan ever calls him up, he has a resume that won't land him in the mid-card for a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. He'll just go to the main event, as he should be in the main event. Lana, AEW. Lana or CJ Perry has been building a social influence platform on Instagram and TikTok that followers alone, she has clout levels that are just above most of these companies, to be honest. Not even given her WWE experience or being married to TNT champion Miro. Lana's just big clout, so her going to like MLW or something just wouldn't make sense. She's just too famous. But whenever Lana or CJ Perry does go to AEW, do not let her interact with Miro. He does not need a manager. He's doing well on his own. And also, Lana has just evolved past being just a manager. She's a wrestler now. Is she the best women's wrestler in the world? No, not by any means, but she has been improving. So if or when she does go to AEW, I think she'd be a great person to have on Dark and Elevation, as she can build her in-ring ability against girls that are also trying to make a name for themselves as well, without any type of inexperience or greenness being shown on Dynamite. Put her in all the thumbnails of Dark and Elevation. People are going to watch. You're like, oh, Lana, click. And then once she's developed enough as an actual wrestler, or in the deep end, put her on Dynamite and let her chase after that women's championship. Braun Strowman returns to WWE. Braun is such a company guy that him not being in WWE is just odd. And the fact that his name is even in the title of this video is like weird to me, that like Braun's not in the WWE anymore. But what would be even more odd is to see Braun Strowman or Adam Shear in a different wrestling company wrestling. I just can't see him going anywhere except for just returning to the WWE in probably like a year. The only stage that would make sense for him to go to is AEW, but I just can't realistically see him in All Elite Wrestling. I think he's just going to return to the WWE maybe in a year. I don't know. I'm just in denial, and I don't want to see Braun anywhere else besides the WWE. I think it'd be cool if he focused a lot more on like the fitness industry. I know he's talked about wanting to compete in bodybuilding recently and get back in strongman and powerlifting and stuff. Him going back in the fitness industry, maybe hosting like the Arnold and Olympia and really big bodybuilding shows, really big powerlifting and strongman shows. The point is, Braun Strowman not in the WWE is just odd, confusing, and I can't see him wrestle anywhere else. Ruby Riott, Ring of Honor. ROH is having a women's tournament this summer to crown, I would assume, to be a new Women's of Honor champion. And whichever lucky lady is the holder of that championship, I think Heidi Lovance would be a great first challenger, and also just takes the belt and becomes a boss of the Women's of Honor division. In my mind, she was such a legend on the independent scene for women. To see her go to WWE and never hold any championship gold at all bothers me. Like, it really bothers me. Like, why? Why not? She took the Riot Squad, a relatively dumb idea, and made it into something that was pretty cool. And now Liv Morgan is very over. But I want Heidi to be the face of the Women's of Honor division. The point is, I'm trying to see that Women's of Honor championship get put around Heidi's probably very tattooed waist. Santana Garrett, NWA. So many people are underselling how great Santana Garrett is. Like, so many people just don't know who she is, and I'm bothered to a very high level. I love Santana. She was like one of the few women on the independent scene that I just loved watching. She's so good, and they didn't use her at all. she was used as enhancement talent. Not really doing anything to WWE of note. I mean, she lost on NXT a bunch. You guys know she was supposed to debut on SmackDown this week, right? Like today when this video goes up, she's supposed to be on SmackDown. Now she's fired! I want a TV audience to love Santana Garrett as much as I love Santana Garrett, so I think NWA would be a great foundation for her. With the likes of Thunder Rosa, Camille, Kylie Ray apparently is in NWA. What? Seeing Santana show up in that company would be great. But once the TV audience learns to love her as they should, Impact Wrestling is the move for her. Deonna Purrazzo, watch it back, because Santana gonna beat yo. Can't curse, kids watching. But even as she became the NWA Women's Champion, that title gets defended not just on NWA shows, but on Dynamite and AEW buy-in pay-per-views. Everybody's just underselling how great she is, and it's bothering me. But NWA is definitely the move for her, and I think after that, Impact Wrestling would also be a great place for her as well. Buddy Murphy, AEW. Buddy Murphy is a wrestling star. Wherever Buddy Murphy goes, and it better be AEW, he will be a star, dude. There's so much star potential in that guy. Am I saying he's gonna be the World Heavyweight Champion? Not necessarily, but if they put it on him, I'm not gonna not watch the show, because he's good. Also, the reason why I think he definitely would go to AEW, if anywhere, Kenny Omega said on interviews that if he could wrestle anyone in WWE, it would be Buddy Murphy first. As soon as that 90-day compete call ends, I need to see him on my Wednesday nights. But yeah, guys, in the comments down below, let me know where do you think these WWE superstars or former WWE superstars will end up next in their career. But make sure to like, comment, share, and always subscribe, and we outie.
We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze.